I think we can feel anxious and we can feel anxiety, but I think there's a difference in feeling anxious and anxiety and then actually being diagnosed with anxiety.
101A, take one.
Is anxiety an epidemic?
I would say yes.
No. I guess I feel like everyone has become more aware of it and they do kind of diagnose themselves more.
Is anxiety an epidemic? Yes, it is.
I don't think it's an epidemic, but it is serious.
I honestly don't know if I know a single person that hasn't dealt with like some level of anxiety.
Is anxiety an epidemic?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like no, honestly.
I think a lot of people say that like, oh my gosh, like I have depression and I have anxiety. And a lot of the times like, no, you're just sad.
Or you're very stressed
Right,
out at the
or
moment.
stressed
or
out.
like you are.
But
But
I do feel like there are a lot of times when like anxiety can hit you pretty hard. And
Yes.
and it's a lot harder in today's because like,
I get what you're saying.
I think there's a lot of
I just
pressure.
wouldn't call it an epidemic.
Right, I think
guess.
there's a lot of pressure on our generation.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I think we have more than past generations because of social media and because everybody expects you to, oh, where are you going to college? Well, I haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you better hurry, it's coming fast.
coming
And then you see on
fast.
other people.
There's a lot with people our age. Like there's school, sports, getting ready to grow up for us being seniors. College,
Yeah.
stuff that we want to do outside of college. You know, it's just a
Work.
lot of
Yeah,
peer
jobs.
pressure,
That's
money,
true, a lot
what we're gonna do to provide for a family, and I think that's why
yeah.
a lot of us has it nowadays is because we're getting ready to step into that real world.
I don't think it's fair for us to just assume that we have more struggles than the past generations, because they had other things that we don't have.
Oh, most definitely.
It's ultimately it can come in different forms, ways,
True.
and all
I
that
think
kind of
we've
stuff.
had it forever, but I also don't think it's been thrown around like it has today.
Yeah.
But now it's just
Yeah.
it doesn't, nobody takes you serious
It's
when
like-
you say like,
Diminishes the power of the word.
yep,
Yes,
exactly.
it's like it. Yeah, exactly.
I also think that it's also kind of, you also have control of it. You also have control over the way you feel sometimes. Maybe not
think-
all the time.
I think though that like sometimes I think we can feel anxious and we can feel anxiety, but I think there's a difference in feeling anxious and anxiety and then actually being diagnosed with anxiety. Because I think like if you're diagnosed with anxiety, like I don't think you can control that. Like I think
Yeah,
that's
because
just
you
something
have
that
like you have random anxiety attacks. Like I had a friend that like actually was diagnosed with that. But like I get anxiety, but I don't feel
but
like
but I'm not
can't-
diagnosed with
yeah,
it.
that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like in a way sometimes I can control my emotions, but I feel like if I like was actually diagnosed with it, then like it'd be kind of harder to control, you know? Because it's like, yeah, I stress myself out a lot or I get worried about a lot of things, but it's not necessarily like, I don't know, it's not as big of an issue.
Right.
Do you think that you've ever had an anxiety attack?
Yes.
No.
Well,
Maybe.
I feel like maybe
we've all had anxiety,
don't-
but I don't know
oh,
if
I-
it's been crippling anxiety. Like,
Right. I don't think like so like I don't think I've ever had an attack, but like definitely like anxiety is a real thing. Like I think I've had like moments where I'm super anxious about something and but I don't think I've ever had an attack where I'm just like I don't even know what that's like.
yeah.
I most definitely have when I got diagnosed with diabetes. I got really, really sick and like I didn't know what was going on and there was a lot of things that was going on. Like I was getting dehydrated, I was very, very weak. I could barely walk on 2 feet, like, and I was falling everywhere and fainting for like numerous reasons. So the time that I did go to the emergency room and to the ER, it kind of like all came in one place because I was like, well, I could have this or I could have that or it could be nothing. And then when they said I got diagnosed with it and I had to get rushed to the emergency room, so now I'm on the ambulance getting rushed to emergency room because like I'm potentially finna go into a diabetic coma and pass out. At that, all in that one moment, like I was thinking of dying, I was thinking of what I'm leaving behind, I was thinking of all that stuff, and then I passed out. And so I woke up, thank God, the next day of everybody being worried, but like just that one moment, I know I had a really an anxiety attack
Yeah.
at that one moment.
Yeah.
When I get really, really overwhelmed, like I just like, I'll like just start crying, like, and I'll just like
Or-
need my time and space like by myself. So I don't know if I'd say that that's an anxiety attack.
I don't
I don't know.
just-
Sometimes I like,
Yeah.
if I have like a big event or like a presentation or something like that, or if I just have to go to a certain place like out in public, or if I see someone in public I know and I like freak out, like it could even be like one of you. If I saw you guys, I might like freak out sometimes and be like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna say? And I start worrying about the conversation I'm gonna have because like, yeah, I know you guys, but like I'm not like as close, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I don't know, but I know like some people when it comes to anxiety, they'll kind of like breathe really hard and they'll just
Yeah.
like kind of freeze up
yeah.
and like panic or whatever.
It just
and
overwhelms the
that's
whole
happened
body.
to me, but not on like such a large
Yeah.
scale, you know. But I don't know.
I feel like
Sometimes
there are
I have like
levels,
social
of anxiety.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like there's like our normal, like, okay, I'm stressed about this, I'm stressed about
Yeah.
that. And then there's like clinical anxiety where you've been diagnosed and you like,
Those are the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had
and then there's
some
obviously,
big
like,
moments,
in between,
but I just
like
The extremes are like I'm diagnosed with anxiety, and then
Like, I'm just
I don't-
stressed.
I'm just stressed.
Yeah, I feel
don't
like
have
I've
a
had
cell.
big moments, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't ever like, unless it got to a crazy point. But I don't think right now I
Right.
would ever diagnose myself with like, hey, I have crippling anxiety. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
What it's gonna be.
If you could make one phone call to finish processing this topic, who would you call?
My dad.
I was gonna say my dad too.
Why?
He's really good. I think he's really good with talking about stuff and working through it. Like sometimes I'll try and explain something and get caught up, and I think he really can piece together certain stuff that I can't piece together. And he's got a lot more experience than me. So I mean, someone who's got 30 years of experience on you, or however many years, you know, they got a lot of stuff that, you know, we think we know all about, you know, this and that, and we were talking about the past, you know, but like we don't really know how it was back then. So like we say like we have anxiety today, but like there are different things that they could have been anxious about or whatever back in the day, and we didn't know. So I think it would be good to have my dad here.
Yeah.
I think I would probably call my mom, just because like growing up, she was like really shy, and like when it came to certain like social things, she would just, I don't know, she would just like get really shy and like worry about certain things, and it just like really stressed her out to like, I don't know, just to a point where she was just like in a state of like really bad stress. And so she's grown so much from then. And so like you said with the whole like experience thing, like he
Right.
has 30 plus years on you. Same with my mom. Like I just feel like
Like
she
we were
just
talking
has all
about
the
earlier
experience.
with knowing how to get up. I think they all have known how to get up.
back.
Oh
for-
yeah,
for
they
a
have
long
like the
time.
knowledge, like
Right.
yeah.
And we've only done small things. Well, they have had a lot of things that
They've
that
had big
to-
battles where
right.
they've had to fall and like pick themselves back
Like,
up.
really
Yeah,
fall.
yeah.
Like they had no choice but to pick
Yeah.
themselves back.
And I think like it's easier like if somebody has had a really big fall, then they know like, okay, like hey, like don't step here because you'll fall really hard.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
go this way.